Welcome everybody. Welcome Dr. Eda. Welcome Richard, Yudia, and everybody else. So we're going to start with the text. And today we're going to finish the chapter on determination that knows not the meaning of quitting. And in our determination, there is always an element, despite all the knowledge that we can get and the willingness to take action and everything else. Last week we talked about emotion. We talked about the thoughts. There is always something, I call it the last price one needs to pay. If you're going to be able to live your dream, you will have to go through this. And that is what we want to focus on today. Guts and glory. No guts, no glory. That I was told. One must get used to sneers before you get used to success. It did not make a lot of sense at the start of my journey. It seemed just like those fantastic poetic phrases we can often use without much comprehension. But the fact is, it is true. Over the years, that became much and much clearer as I kept looking for that elusive success with my ego intact. Actually, I came to realize that lack of guts to face your fears can be a great undoing to your mission. There is nothing much worth doing that will not require a great application of guts. Success is not for the faint-hearted. It is for those who are daring and willing to go against the grain. If you do what everyone else does, you end up with what everyone else has. I guess you already know what everyone else has. It is exactly what you do not want. Look around and check the majority of people you see in the society. What percentage represent the people who live the kind of life you'd like to live? Answer to yourself. I probably do not belong to your locality, but I do guess there are very few. Now, here is the second question, part of the test. Find out what they do, what they have done to be where they are. Were guts involved? Just in order that I may not assume, in simple terms, guts simply means having a daring attitude to go for what you want without obeying your fears or listening to people who discourage you or sneer at you in any way. You get used to them and move on. You cannot afford to feel ashamed doing what ought to be done. One must have guts in order to succeed. You must have the ability to walk the less traveled paths and daringly explore the new territories. Be warned, no one is going to praise you in this. If you are looking for praise, you will miss it and probably quit. People will congratulate you and sing your song when you are already successful, or at least have tasted some bit of it. Remembering a few years back when I attended a particular business convention in Cape Town, South Africa, we had the opportunity to be addressed by a great leader called Bill Beans, one of the two gentlemen who brought a network marketing company called Golden Products, a new life company brand, into Africa. He related a story of how they first landed in Africa through South Africa. Bill told us that the moment they chose to come to Africa, the first person to discourage him was his mother. She told him, "Son, why do you want to go to Africa? It is a hostile and very dangerous place. You will die in Africa." He ended up defying the odds and followed his heart. Deep within him, he believed there is great potential for success and did not have to listen to his mother, however loving and sincere she could be. Golden Company ended up being one of the most well-known multi-level marketing companies in Africa and Australia, courtesy of his dream, despite his mother's advice against it. He has become successful many times over and is living in the dream. He told us, when you set out to do something great, people who love you the most will give you the worst advice. It is true. Bill said, only two things are necessary in order to build a great organization: a dream and people who believe in that dream. This was also true in him because the person who showed him the business was the founder. He told him that at one time, this company is going to grow all over the world and millions of people will be changing their lives through it. He believed and became part of the people people to drive the vision to its fulfillment. It took a lot of guts to do that. So, my dear friend, have guts. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn. History is filled with people who developed their vision and went for their dreams because of their guts. Take Jonas Salk, the man who came up with polio vaccine. You ever heard of how he was discouraged and sneered, told how useless and fruitless his agenda was? He ultimately made it and is now honored all over the world. Imagine what would have happened had he listened to the naysayers. Be ready to get people who will tell you nothing positive about what you're doing. In selling, we call it rejection. Some of your family members will think you're crazy. Even the family of Jesus of Nazareth at one point thought he was crazy and went for him to take him back home. Read Mark 3:21. Your friends will desert you. Your close associates will quit on you. You will look stupid and feel like you are a total letdown to yourself, your family, and the rest. A public failure. It's okay. Just do it. Do not let someone else determine for you what you can do and what you cannot do. Follow your dream, follow your heart. The reason it is yours is because it's not public and does not need to make sense for others. Do not seek to be popular at this stage. When you succeed, you will be popular anyway. Donald Trump is a classic example. I hope you already know how almost the whole world, including pollsters, predicted his failure when he announced he would run for the presidency of the United States. The media was all anti-Trump. Mr. Trump is an example of what it means to have guts. In my early years of network marketing, I was called names. People rebuked me and sneered at me countless times. I recall an instance when someone asked me, a former colleague in the last company I worked for as a network support engineer, he said to me, Paul Peter, what's wrong with you? You are a whole engineer. Why the hell do you quit your lucrative job to go peddle soap and drugs like a loser? Are you out of your sense? What he called drugs were food supplements. The business I started was to distribute detergents and supplements, among others. If only I listened to him and many others like him, I would not be writing this book you're now reading. How did I respond? To most of such remarks, I would only smile and keep silent. I have been mocked and called various names of my products, both in public and private. If you do not have what others, if you do not have what others call a thick skin, you cannot make it. A lot of guts is required here, coupled with faith in yourself, in your product, and your mission. It may not be perfect. You may be wrong, but aim at refining your idea as you go along. But do not be out to please sneers. The best revenge, someone once said, is massive success. Just because they sneer at you, get the fuel to move on and prove them wrong. You can do it. Discipline is either self-discipline or no discipline at all. If you keep on keeping on and start seeing success, hopefully soon But most often, after a very long dry spell, the final stage of guts become getting used to success, not sneers anymore. And trust me, you can do it. Live your dream. Persistence and passion. Failure is my teacher, and success, my graduation. Love does not come from above, it comes from determination. Persistence and passion will rebel. Redemption will be mine. I will no longer accept to fail. That's a poem by William. That's the end of that particular chapter. And we can go to our discussion. Let's share what you picked in the story, what you picked in the session, what touched you in the guts and glory.
Good morning.
Good morning, Yudia.
I think for me, the greatest thing I have picked is people never want to support when you are beginning, but once you are successful, then they're ready to celebrate. Meaning, at the hardest time, people might not be there, so you have to really be determined to get to the top, to be identified or to be celebrated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yudia. Yes, that is it. When you are getting started in anything, in any business, in any venture, you will most likely only meet people who tell you you are not cut for it. You can't do it. You are not the type. Who has ever done it in your family? Yes, who has ever done it? What makes you believe you can do it? And along the way, when you start succeeding, they start saying, well, seems like you can make it, but it's not that important. That's not the best. That's not the only way. And finally, when you've succeeded, they will start singing your song, telling you, I knew it all along, you could do it. Yes. And so we've got to be people who believe in our vision, believe in the dream that has been installed in our hearts, and not wait for people uh, to pat us on the back, but to keep going, to move on until we are able to touch that which we visualized. Yes, thank you very much. And people can relate their stories. Yeah, you can share maybe something
Hi.
you started and everyone. Yes, Elsie.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Yeah, we are
I
doing
love
well. I'm doing well.
I love the way you put it, disobeying fear. I had
Yeah.
never looked at it that way because I mean fear will be there, especially when you're trying out something new. Thinking of the way I stepped out and people were like, really? You're stepping out? What are you going out to do? And you're like, honestly, I don't know. But the words that keep encouraging me is doing it afraid. So yes, there is that disobeying the fear, and as you're getting used to the sneers of people, GUTS, and then eventually it becomes getting used to success. I mean, that transformation is something that can energize you to keep going. So you get used to the sneers, people are still sneering at you as you do what you're doing. You fail for sure, you're not succeeding, but you still get up and you continue doing what you're doing. And as you're doing it, success is guaranteed. I like that.
Hmm.
It's encouraging.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to hear from you. I don't know what time it is there. I almost said
11.
good morning. It's 11. Oh, so it's
It
good
is.
morning.
It's at night.
Oh, 11 at night. Ah,
Oh,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
Great. Yeah. So you realize that fear will always take counsel. I love to say that fear is very courageous. This is something we've got to know, that fear is very courageous. Actually, it has a wrong name, because fear does not wait for you. It walks to you and keeps you company, counseling you. But courage, for some reason, is very timid and elusive. You've got to encourage courage and keep pursuing courage and trying to embrace courage in order to move on. Yeah. So thank you for that. That's the way it works. Yes.
You know what you've just reminded me when you've said that, I've
Yeah.
been studying about mixed feelings. So when you talk of courage, courage is a combination of fear and desire.
Yeah.
So when you're courageous, there's something you're fearing, but if you have an integrated mind, you're somebody who's not only fearing what it is you're fearing, but you have that desire that keeps you going. So courage is the combination of fear and desire. And that's what keeps us going. If you have
Great.
an integrated mind, you're able to overcome and mature as you continue living life. That's what I've been studying this last week.
Yes, yes, yeah. Courage is most times not even the feeling. It is just that decision. Let me just do it. Let me just because it's necessary to do it. So our fear of failure becomes less magnified as opposed to our desire to success. So the desire becomes stronger, and we move on. We brace the courage. We brace the fear. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Elsie. Yeah, somebody else would like to share on that.
I'd also like to share.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Morning,
morning.
OPP and team. How are
Yes.
you wherever you are? Yes, some are 11 to almost 10 hours away from us.
Yeah.
Hata wale weko diaspora tunawasalimia sana.
Mm.
Thanks. I like this topic. It just reminds me of my weekend and experience. I dressed, look smarter. So I dressed like a combination of a tourist, a poacher, and just somebody who's out to enjoy his weekend. And I went to the air show. When I arrived outside there, Mad World, with the sun, he told me, you will not go inside there. They have refused. They have locked the gates the president is in. I told him, no problem. I'm determined. I left my house to go and enter this stadium because I've been admiring from outside. Now I want to go from inside. So he thought I was joking. I left him. I was courageous. I went to that gate. I found what do you call it? A mammoth crowd waiting, trying to plead with the military. You know, this is not a police affair. This was military. Military guy to open the gate. They refused. So what I said, I decided you must think outside the box. So I I left this big crowd, and then I went to a smaller crowd that was now standing next to now at the exit, where the military vehicles were being driven in and out for water, to supply water and other. I'm saying, so I moved from the gate written entrance where everybody was expecting to enter, and I moved to the gate written exit. Military people are still there. So what I did, I just flashed my press card and I walked with confidence. Oh, and this guy said, Mkubwa, karibu, karibu, asante sana. And then I was greeting them and saying, how's your work? And they were very happy. And I walked in. And that's where this word of courage comes in, and determination. And you know what you want and you're ready to do anything. So I went, had fun, took photos, and I shared. So I think that's what happened in life. In life, many people fail because they don't have courage. They look at the bigger crowd that because it's not been done before, you cannot do it. So thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's brilliant. Yeah, you can figure it out along the way. As long as you're determined, you can see whether to walk through it, walk around it, jump over it. You will always figure it out. That's very exciting. Thank you very much. Anthony.
Thank you very much, PP and the team. Good morning, everyone. I know I've been missing in action. I've had like 3 weeks of a very, very, very busy entry, mostly up country with the engagements. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be back when we are tackling this very, very wonderful topic and with very insightful thoughts from what you have read. This takes me, okay, of course, like I always say, as a person with a disability, I know, and to reach where I am, I have gone through pretty a lot. But today I'm going to share two incidences that show that that if you have courage and if you have the guts, then people will be there and they'll say, well, like just the same way Paul Peter said, we will make it, but people will discourage me initially. First of all, after university, I tarmacked for around 4 years, got a job with a local NGO. But in that NGO, I wasn't satisfied. I felt like the place where you feel no growth, your efforts are not really appreciated. So I decided I just want to quit. And I quit. And I didn't have any other job. And I went back to tarmacking. In those days, we used to call it KTN, Kenya Tarmacking Network. And I stayed there for about 3 weeks. And within that time, I got invited to an interview, with in one of the local companies. I had applied there, and I had applied the written first application, it was rejected. I applied a second time, it was rejected. And then also now I had applied a third time. So I was waiting for the response. Then I quit the job that I was in. And so when I was out there, I got a reply. I was invited for interview. Then the interview at that time, it was at 3 levels: aptitude, computer, and then the orals. So I went for the aptitude, I passed. Computer, I passed. Even though I've learned in the computer, but ile yangu ni ya jua kali, but I passed. And then oral, I passed. And then I was absorbed. And for the last 15 years, I've been in that company. Maybe some people don't want to know where I work. I work with Safaricom. So I and people were asking me, but if you quit the job with a local NGO, I told them yes. And so they say, you made the right choice. The second is when I got married, and then we came to where we live, which is around Kikuyu. My wife started a business, and we started with a grocery, a kibanda with around 300 shillings, and people discouraged her. Because how can your wife is, your husband is having a good job, how can you do a kibanda business? But then we had a vision. So today about then it grew into a shop, from a shop into another shop, from a shop. Now it has even have a barber shop and all that. And today we distribute long life milk in this area. And so, in fact, we reached a point where some even of the big companies in milk distribution, in milk manufacturing, they reach out to us to see whether we can be able to do business with them. So it has, what started from that. Those people who discouraged us, who discouraged my wife, today they have nothing to say. So I agree with that topic. Have guts, go for it, go for it. You are the bearer of your dream, go for it. Thank you, PP and the team.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Very wonderful examples. Yes. If we do not have the guts to go against the crowd, to go against the popular advice, yes, then we will achieve nothing, we will be nothing, we will be part of the crowd. And by the way, some people are okay being just like that, but you will not sleep. You will keep remembering that you did not try. And there are two ways to fail, I was taught. One is failing to try, and one is failing to finish. You see, so because you want to stay popular, you want to stay reasonable within the crowd, you do not want to be different, you want to conform, you start listening to everybody. And I know enough of us will always go seeking advice from various people. The most likely advice is you cannot do it. Yeah, my story even of coming to going to the university, I've related this story. Coming from the lake, I love to say that when people are talking about what is your profession, when I see fisherman as part of the choices, I say fisherman. You see, when I was in the lake doing the fishing and tried a few weeks, it wasn't working. I was looking for school fees. I told myself, I'm going back home to look for another way. And my friends told me, nobody ever did that. Nobody ever came here and went home and went back to school. No, you can't. Yeah. But I left them there. I looked for another boat to bring me back home, and I started looking for other ways that could get me fees to go to school. And by the end of the day, I made it. I told myself I will sit exam and pass and go to the university, but people were saying now, uh, nobody has ever passed. And in fact, you are going to, I was going to a school that had never, no, there was no any record for KCSE. We were going to be the first people. And no library, no teachers. Sometimes you just need the guts. In fact, my head teacher told me, you should go back to Form 3. Yeah. I told him, no, just let me go ahead. You can't make it. You must go back to Form 3 because you've not done Form 3 so that you can prepare adequately. But I thought it's my only chance. Everything I ever did was always taking the courage, biting the bullet, doing what is against the convention. And that is the way I've been able to see what I'm saying. And I know the stories I've heard and all that I've studied. Yes, let's keep sharing. Guts and glory. That's the topic. You've got to take the guts. You've got to go against the grain.
Yeah, mine is just like a continuation of what I was sharing last week when you talk of the guts and the glory. I remember when I got out of employment, I tried network marketing, it didn't work. I tried selling insurance, it didn't work. Finally, when I settled for the business that kept my feeling at one time when I was doing HR, I just joined at the level of cleaning. In fact, it was like, Susan, we are moving to a place in South B and we need someone to be there at least to do the cleaning of the compound and then stay there. Then I was like, let me join the team of those who own companies. I will be part of them. That is what I did, I've learned a bit, read a bit of The Secret, where the IDs of the directors were. That is where I made a photocopy of my ID and PIN and placed it there. I was just there. The only lady that made me join them was the one who knew my work of handling papers, being that we worked with them. The two engineers were not close to me. So they were like, they still don't know how to handle me. They still don't know my capability. I was just there. And then a year later, on the internet, on my LinkedIn account, I changed my title to be a sales manager. In fact, in LinkedIn, it's called sales specialist. And it stayed there, and I was not there. I was not anywhere near there. I was just looking at that title and then keeping just quiet as things goes by. Situations we continue, we stabilized. The question came, Susan, can you handle marketing? At first, I said, I've not done marketing, but give me a week or two to reason. After 2 weeks, I told them I can handle it. And then they told me we have a problem because we have to know the marketing in case we want to employ we employ someone, how much will we pay, how do we play the targets, what have you. I did the research, I came back with the solution. I told them it's good to employ a marketer, but the contact and everything are his or hers. When he leaves the company will not have that direct link because you people will be only involved in implementation, not customer retention. They looked at the situation and they said, fine, you're right. Now handle it. And that is how now where I am. So at the moment, I'm at the title of the three who own. I've not owned by contributing the share, but I owned by contributing the guts of just by placing first, believing that Susan, this is where I belong. I've walked around and finally, this is where I am. It has not been a good, it's good experience. I remember 4 years of not having any income. The reason being, all of us, we were in the same compound, meaning the first basic that we have to pay when we get money is pay the rent for the office, which is hosting the three of us. Then the electricity, the utilities are being paid. From there, now we look into how are we going to eat. But end month, the first thing that has to be checked is the basics so that the company runs. Now, when we talk of guts, I relate to that because I remember if I would have not taken the guts to say that this is what I have to take, despite not having any income, surviving, it has been tough, very, very tough time. But now I look at myself as now, if this business runs, I'm in charge of ensuring that I bring the business. I'm in charge that the sales team that are under me brings the business. How do you handle it? So that is a bit I can share with the issue of guts. It's not easy. It's a journey, but when things fall, you don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susan. And that it takes that same old guts, yeah, to say, yeah, I can handle it, yeah. Even somebody said, if you are asked if you can handle something, even if you don't, I think that was Steve Jobs. Say yes, I can handle it. Pick it, then go learn how to do it. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, we learned that in choosing guts over our fears, we learn to mind our business. I love to use the word minding business. You know, it's a statement I used to hear, and you people have been hearing, mind your business, mind your business. And most of us take it perhaps as either an insult or some statement which is very unkind. But I learned that it's quite important to mind your business. Minding your business means you are not going to listen to what other people say to stop you or to discourage you from what you feel in your heart you can do. And this is where even experts will not sway you otherwise, will not persuade you against it. Because experts can get it wrong. Yeah, now I love this example of the Israelites journeying in the desert and they don't have water. Just imagine if they had to ask the experts, the hydrologists, the water people, where can we get water from here? They would talk of complicated solutions, drilling, whatever, that might not be possible. But if you trust in your guts that you can do it, that you can make it, then a solution, a way is found, you see, and you will be able to make it. A beautiful example we often read is that of Henry Ford when he wanted to build this type of car engine. I don't remember the exact name. And all the engineers said, this is not possible. This is scientifically, we know that this one cannot happen. But he had the guts to go against all that and keep moving on and insist that we are going to make it, we are going to get it, and it finally came in. And we've seen in various other places, if you are going to do it, you will mind your business. And this is when somebody talk about being deaf. You are deaf to what other people are saying against what you want, and you keep moving on, and finally a way is made. Finally a way, you find yourself being able to achieve that for which you set out to, you see. So if we learn all the knowledge, we get all the wisdom, we get all the skill, whatever it is, we get all the networks, but we are not able to do that which might make us look stupid, it won't work. Now, when I was choosing to quit employment, I didn't tell anybody at home, because I knew it's not reasonable, it's not the conventional wisdom. And I knew that that was the safest thing to do, because people were losing their jobs anyway. Yeah, a lot of my friends in a similar industry had lost their jobs and had to change paths. Yeah, somebody had to quit education. We were doing MSc together in Chiromo. He had to stop and start looking for how to survive. Luckily, he ended up, that became a blessing in disguise. He ended up starting a very big company that's still moving on. So I quit and got started, and a couple of years later, the company merged with others, and many other people lost their opportunities. Maybe I wouldn't have lost, but still, I loved the freedom afterwards of choosing when to do what and with who, where. So most times, and you people, I know you have stories that you can relate. If you did not take the courage to pick that first step and to move on despite the discouragement, despite the unpopularity of that idea, you won't be where you are today, and you thank yourself for having done it. Anybody who's ever started a venture knows that. And that does not mean you will never fail. You will always fail and look stupid and look like, well, I wish I listened. But along the way, if you persist with determination that knows not the meaning of quitting, then you end up getting what you want. Yes, somebody else would like to share.
About pension and annuities. And somebody gave me an idea. Okay, I have my age is 46 years. I want to earn 700,000. So I gave them the options what they need to put into the annuity, about 70 million. Then they told me, you are just crazy. They started insulting me and all that. And I was thinking, really, I have given you the information you required. It's your choice really to take what you want and leave what you don't want. So why do you now start insulting me and telling me I'm not making sense? I don't know what so much. So what you are saying, really, it is what we experience every day. I was just waiting for people to speak so that I can share my experience every day. That is what we experience. So now that they know, let them be more kind to us, people of insurance, and especially insurance sales.
Okay. Yeah, you need to learn also how to, you keep sharpening your skills, yes? So that you're also kind to them. Okay. Yeah, until they save your name. Until they save your name in their phone as Liz of insurance.
And
until they start calling you insurance.
Truecaller brings Liz of insurance.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I see Dr. Eda is written, I've experienced a lot of hate for emphasizing that artificial contraceptives are toxins and that the body is itself healing. The body is self-healing with power of lifestyle, e.g. diet, exercise, stress management. The WHO has been hijacked and doctors been washed from medical school to benefit the big pharmas. Great. That's beautiful sharing. Good. We are almost moving towards the end, and I know we have enough experiences to share. Anybody don't feel left out. Yes. If we run out of data, we can close. Yeah. Anybody else who has an experience can always summarize that. In every success that we are going to experience, we've got to make a decision. And that decision will have to do with action. We recently discussed about taking action. If we do not take action, then nothing is going to happen. Now, for us to take this action, we've got to pay the price of guts. Yes, making that decision and saying that no matter what, we are going to be able to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this action. It might be unpopular. I may be going against the grain. I may not be doing what everyone agrees with. I may look very different. And in the world today, many people do not want to look different. We like to conform. And actually, one person once said that the opposite of courage is really not fear, but conformity. We are a people who want to conform. We want to stay relevant. We want to follow everything as it should be. Yeah, and that's why we are born, go to school, get a good job, whatever, and things like that. But even as time changes, some people get stuck. In fact, majority of people, we do not want to be the ones to start getting out of the common herd, the common group. We want to be to stay relevant so that we do not attract insult, we do not attract maybe abuse and things like that. But even today, things are changing, and maybe your heart has told you lots of things to do, but you failed to pick the courage, you failed to take the guts to get started. And so along the way, you regret for having not done it. You regret having not obeyed your own instinct, your own conscience, your own calling, because this is your own personal calling, your own personal dream. And without choosing to be different, without choosing to take that first action, you end up not achieving much. The book we are currently reading, it took me a long time thinking of, I should be writing a book, I should be writing a book. But I kept imagining now, who will read it? What makes me believe I can write something that is meaningful? And it was in my heart. I started thinking about this thing in class 8 when I was saying, I will go out there and study what makes the difference between success and failure. What makes the difference between people who seem to have and those who seem not to have, and then share it with people. So that was already my mission from class 8, because I had seen people struggling with school fee, dropping out of school after finishing class 8. And I was wondering, we were living a life that was not exciting. I was wondering, why are others so blessed or seem so blessed, and yet others just don't make it? Then along the way, I learned that I learned, somebody pushed me, a friend of mine just pushed me. You've got to start writing today. You've got to start writing this year. Start writing something, because whenever you speak to people, whenever you share with us something, we want to be left with something to read, but you don't have. And it was through that I took the guts to start studying, to start not studying but writing. And by the end of the day, I had something. I have a book that many people have loved. It's called Live Your Dream in 7 Ds, and people have recommended it many times over, and they come back for other copies. And it took the guts, the same old guts, you see. So everything that you are going to do and make it in life, and make a difference, and make a difference in the lives of other people, in your own life, in the lives of your family, you will have to take the guts. You will have to go against the popular belief, the popular opinion, and be able to make a name. That's the way it works.